On this week's episode of Hannah Can't Pick a Hobby, I wanted to show you how I made this giant knitted pumpkin. So last year I made this tiny little knit pumpkin, and this year I wanted to do something bigger. So I made this one, and I wanted it to be cable knit, so I taught myself how to make these cables this past weekend and then put my skills to the test making this pumpkin. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's so squishy and cute, and I just really love how the cables look. I think it makes me look like a real knitter, even though I'm an awful knitter and I'm mainly a crocheter, but we don't really need to talk about that because now I have this proof that I know how to knit. I'm gonna link the pattern I used down below in the description. It was really easy. I got it from Ravelry. It was a free PDF download and it was really easy to follow. So this pumpkin is knit flat and then you pull the two sides together to create a pumpkin shape. I highly recommend. I think everybody should make one of these. You don't have to make it as giant as I did, but I think you should make it this big because this is just awesome. And I'm so happy to have this, and now I need to find a home for her somewhere in my apartment. So yeah, if you want to see how I made this new friend, keep on watching. If the color would stop changing while I'm talking, this is our first repeat done. I have this beautiful orange yarn, so it's an 8-row repeat with these 6 cables, so I'm really excited about that. The only thing I don't like about this pattern design is that there's so much space in between the cables. Like, I probably would have liked it better if we cut it in half, but I'm not comfortable enough with cables to be changing designs that I don't really understand that well. I'm not sure how long this took because I didn't pay attention to the clock, but I am pleased with how it's looking so far. I'm excited to get this done, so I'm gonna knit up the rest of this, or when I'm finished knitting, and then we can assemble this bad boy. Repeat number 2 is done, and look at these cables. They look gorgeous. My favorite part about this weird lighting is that it gives me this horrible blue ghost skin. We just finished repeat number 3. I really struggled with that repeat because I guess I'm knitting too tightly, like around the cables, because I don't know if you could tell in the time lapse, but I was struggling to get these loops around the needle. So I think I was knitting a little too tightly because down here in the earlier repeats I was afraid of these big holes. Yeah, especially on this side, you can see kind of what I was talking about. So I was knitting a lot tighter at the cost of my fingers. So I might loosen up again. I wanted to put beans in the bottom of this so that it would have a little bit of weight to it, but I'm afraid that the beans are gonna fall out. So I might have to find tights or something to put on the inside of this to contain any beans, but we will get there when we get there. And now we're halfway done, which is exciting. So we can just keep going. I just finished repeat number 4, I believe. Number 4, so this is what we've got so far. It looks awesome. I really like it, but my back is killing me because of the way I'm sitting on the couch and my feet hurt. My body is just not built for this awful hunching thing I'm doing in order to film this, so my body's falling apart. But other than that, it looks really good and I really like how it's turning out. We just have 2 repeats left and then it's time to start assembling this friend. I just finished my 5th repeat, and now we just have one left until it's finished. I finally finished my last repeat. My body hurts from crouching over all day long and the sun went down, but I finished the part with the orange, and now we can start with the stem part, but I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow because I hurt and can't do this anymore. Hello everyone, we're back with day 2 of knitting this giant pumpkin. So here's the body of my pumpkin, and then this gray yarn is what I'm gonna be using for the stem. So I have to knit a couple rows on here for the stem, then we'll be finished knitting the body completely. Then I have to knit a tiny little stem, and then we'll have all the pieces done and we'll be able to assemble this pumpkin friend. I hopefully fixed my filming situation so I won't break my spine and legs again today, but we'll see. I won't be knitting for as long today, hopefully, so I won't fall apart, but you never know. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the knitting portion of the body of the pumpkin is complete. So now I just need to thread this yarn through these loops. So instead of casting off, we're gonna create like a drawstring to close up the top of the pumpkin. So I'm gonna use this little plastic needle to thread yarn through all these little loops. And then I'm gonna weave in these ends just so I don't forget to do it later. And then we have to knit up the stem, and then we can finally assemble it. I know every time I record one of these clips, I talk about how I'm gonna assemble it soon, and then I don't. But I think I made it this time. We're almost there to assembly time. The best part about that last time lapse is that I whacked the camera, so it shook around. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. All my little pieces are done. So now we can start sewing and assembling this friend. So here's my stem, here's the body. Well, let's get assembling. I talked about how I wanted to put beans in the bottom of this. Well, that can't happen because there's a hole. It doesn't close all the way. So I guess I will just be doing fluff, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about this little gross hole. We'll just ignore that and keep going. Done! Wow, look how cute it is. It's a little lumpy and a little weird shaped, and the seam on the back is really ugly, and I don't know how to fix that. But from the front, we really do have something. I really did break my body trying to knit this pumpkin because I knit hunched over on my couch so I could film it the whole thing. So don't do that. Have better posture than I do when you're knitting this if you decide to knit one. But other than that, it was really an easy knit, and I'm happy to have this. I think I'm gonna make even more of them in other colors and different sizes because I think this pumpkin needs a friend that looks just like it, because these two next to each other really do look ridiculous. And I made these two pumpkins out of the same orange yarn, which just speaks to how important needle size is when you're making knitted things. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you make a pumpkin of your own. And if you want to see more of my random hobby adventures, since I apparently can't pick a hobby and have to try new things every week, definitely subscribe, stick around. I'd love to have you. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you make a pumpkin friend of your own. And thank you for watching.